What's up everybody, Chuck Bailey with the Bass Channel here in Take 5, and today we're going to be talking about the Sire P5. Let's check it out. So for everybody that's seen Take 5 before, we normally talk about the bass. I have it usually with me, and then I go over all the specs and the details. We do some B-roll, we do some playing styles, etc. We're doing this one a little different. I've mentioned before in the past that I'm a local Las Vegas musician. I play a lot of live shows. One of the groups that I work in does 90s rock and music from the 90s. It's called Flannel Channel. And we took the P5 out to put it through its paces, and I was really impressed. But enough talk about that. Here's one of those clips from the gig so you guys can hear and see for yourself. It's an alder body, which I really like. It's got a gloss poly finish. It's a roasted hard maple neck and 9.5-inch radius. Fingerboard is the same, roasted hard maple, and 20 medium frets, 34-inch scale, and the nut width is 1.874 inches. And it has a bone nut. And everything else as far as the tuners, the bridge, and tailpiece, etc. is all in-house hardware from Sire. So like I said on this gig, I brought that P5 out from Sire, and it's quite a change from what I normally gig with. So I am endorsed by MTD, Michael Tobias Design. If you guys don't know that, we can put that link below. You can check them out. They're an amazing company, and their bases are all custom, right? They have offshore, overseas models like most of these companies do. I've played those too. We're gonna do a Take 5 on that on a separate video, but my normal is a custom. And the Sire, again, if you're looking for a price comparison, it's probably 1/10 of the price without getting myself in trouble with my significant other for an exact price for what that MTD was. And honestly, I've never been a proponent for cost justifying tone or the experience. I've played a lot of cheap basses that sound great, and I played a lot of expensive basses that to me did not. I love my MTD. I've been using and gigging that for years. This Sire bass, especially because of the kind of music for this particular group that I'm working with, it kind of runs the gamut as far as 90s music goes. You do some Alice in Chains, you do some Genuine, you do some Blackstreet, you do some Blink-182, a wide array of tones for a wide array of music, and that's why I like my MTD, because it's very versatile. And you have these initial concerns because everybody pigeonholes P basses and J basses to have X or Y sound. Versatility is important to me because, I don't feel like I'm able to carry 2, 3, 4, 2 basses, but nothing more than that. It gets pretty heavy when you're walking through the Las Vegas Strip with a bunch of gear and some of these gigs and you got a bunch of basses. You want something that you know is going to get it done. That Sire bass, playing it the whole time on those sets that we did while we were playing that last gig on the videos that you guys will see or have already seen, it was good. In the mix, it sounded really good. I was super impressed. And I'm not comparing it to a bass that's 10 times its price. And that's not my baseline. No pun intended. My baseline is, was I happy with how it sounded? Was I happy with how it felt? And were my bandmates in the front of house happy with how it sounded? And it was a unanimous kind of, hey man, that sounded good. And it did. Obviously, hopefully, right? right? Hopefully. You don't have patrons of wherever you're playing complaining about your bass tone. Maybe you have that one guy that's like, well, it was okay. But most of the time they're just trying to party and drink and have a good time. We were lucky on that one because Red Hot Chili Peppers was finishing playing there, so we had a lot of people that were already down for the cause on that kind of music, and that bass got to really shine. Again, I put it through its paces. It did not disappoint, and again, I was very happy with what I was able to accomplish with that bass. Now, it was posed to me, oddly enough, if this was like a situation where I did not have my MTD, I forgot it, it was in a car crash, I left it on the moon when I was on the moon, something crazy like that, right? And I had this bass. Would this bass get me through a 4-hour gig without any complaints on my end, sound guy, front of house, band, etc.? I feel absolutely yes. I would 100% gig this bass. I liked the feel, I liked the aesthetics, I liked the quality of the hardware and the materials, the components they use. Most of all, though, I liked how it felt, and I was very, very, very happy with the tones that I was able to accomplish with that bass. Now, it's passive. It's completely passive. There's no preamp, but it still had enough grit and enough oomph, pizzazz, chutzpah, or however you say it. It had plenty, where I was able to cut enough in the mix to where you knew a bass was there, but I wasn't overbearing where it was just killing everyone else. So, yes, this bass would be something that I would consistently see myself gigging even if nothing happened in my MTD. I'm still going to plan on rotating this bass through because I enjoy playing it and it sounds good. And I'm a lot more comfortable in some of the places, and as a musician, you don't always play glitzy, glamorous, clean places, right? Sometimes you just gotta follow the gig and hope for the best. I'd be a lot more comfortable with this bass, especially at its price point, than my MTD in certain places that I play. This bass is reliable, and again, at roughly a tenth of the cost, I'm a lot more at ease with some of the environments that I am playing in. They're not always fun casino gigs, but hey, them's the bricks, right? $599 for this bass, hands down, that's a great buy. Again, alder body, roasted maple neck and board, and it's the small details, right? Like the fingerboard itself is glossed, and then the neck is got that satin finish, so you can be fast on the neck. I don't like playing glossed necks because when I'm sweating and you're under those lights and it's hot, you start getting caught, right? Like that looked terrible. You start getting caught and you don't have that speed and you get hung up on that stuff. You don't experience that with this, right? Because of those small details. Yeah, there's other things that we can get into, but I really nitpicking it at that point. Do I think this is a quality buy at $599? Absolutely. For all intents and purposes, I give this bass 8.5 out of 10. I would definitely play this again on a gig. It's definitely going to be a regular rotation instrument as far as my use goes. I've always wanted a P bass. A 5-string P bass is even better, and I don't have that initial concern about it being weak on the low B side. This has some snap to it. I would like it to be a little more rounded, a little more versatile, middle of the road kind of mix, because again, P basses are everybody's Swiss Army knife. It's not mine per se. I'm not hung up on that, but I am starting to see the appeal and the allure. So Sire's a great start. This bass was really good. I really appreciated the opportunity to play it and to use it. So if you guys liked what you saw and everything was cool with that, and you agree or don't agree, you want to have notifications to disagree with me, that hit the bell, like, comment, subscribe, and then join and be a YouTube member too. It's super cheap, and you can have access to a ton of exclusive content that's only for our members. Thank you guys again. This is Chuck Bailey with Take 5. We'll see you next time.